The truth finally leaked in what has been a crazy offseason and a crazy season last year of rumors and reports about Mitch Marner, controversy within the locker room. Ryan Reaves has come out and revealed the truth not only behind his tenure with the Leafs, but surrounding the locker room issues and also Austin Matthews in particular. We're going to break down exactly what he said, as well as a few other huge Leafs updates ahead of what's going to be a crazy next few weeks for Brad Living and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support. About 71% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed to the channel. And of course, we're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. There's a lot to go over today. And of course, we're going to be focusing in on some not trade talks today, but something else that's very interesting, because all offseason long, the narrative was about Mitch Marner, how much controversy there was within the locker room, the fans turning on him, everything there. But Ryan Reaves was someone who also had a lot of obviously firsthand experience, and let's just dive right into it. He said a lot of different things, and you can see right here, former Maple Leaf Ryan Reaves praised Austin Matthews after his first year as captain in Toronto. Never coasted in practice, always working his butt off on the ice before everyone else off the ice last. And there was questions last year during his down year about his work ethic, all these different things. And I think this kind of transitions well into what's going to be, I think, a fantastic year for him next year. But in this interview, and of course, Ryan Reaves, we had some interesting insight around Mitch Marner as well. He basically praised Ryan Reaves, or Austin Matthews, sorry, as much as he possibly could have. And for someone who just left Toronto and maybe left a bit of a sour taste in his mouth here, he basically just highlighted the leadership, commitment, and everything surrounding Austin Matthews. And I think we can put to bed the narrative, if there ever was one, that he didn't work hard. And also, it seems that within the locker room, there wasn't that much turmoil, even surrounding Mitch Marner either.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff in this interview that, doesn't really pertain to the Leafs. We don't really want to focus on that stuff. I'm more interested in what he said about like Austin Matthews and guys who are still on the Leafs. We want to focus on that stuff. And what he said about Austin Matthews, I think is very telling, because Austin Matthews, like you said, there was a lot of question marks last year. He was dealing with an injury. We saw it a lot in the comments and online. People are saying he's finished. They should trade him. Like, he's never going to be more healthy than he was. I don't know if that's true. He doesn't need surgery. He looks pretty good. He's training in the offseason right now. I've seen some videos. He looks pretty good. He looks quick again, which is something that I think, he just didn't look quick at the end of last year. I think something was bugging him, obviously. So there's a lot of questions about that. And there's been a lot of questions from other fan bases. Like, their narrative has been, this guy's not a leader and he shouldn't be the captain of your team, and he's everything that's wrong with the team. And I don't think that's true. Like, Matt Sundin, to me at least, didn't look like a very vocal leader either. Like, yes, they've had vocal leaders in terms of captains in the past, but Matt Sundin didn't really strike me as that type either. It was more like lead by example, and Austin Matthews really strikes me as that type. Like, I think that he is vocal, and you've seen some videos of, obviously, behind the scenes of the Toronto Maple Leafs where he is. But for the most part, if he isn't on the bench, I think that's okay, because he is leading by example. He is the best player. He goes out, he scores goals, he's working hard. You see that. He was fighting through an injury last year and he was still in the lineup. And a lot of people say that, sometimes you probably shouldn't do that, right? Where you shouldn't fight through an injury. Maybe you should make way for somebody else who is healthy to play. I don't know. It sounded like, from what your living said, it flared up at times, and other times he was okay. And we saw that he still had a decent season. He had 78 points last year, which is considered a down year, and he missed a significant amount of time. So there's a lot to it. I think that, he is a very good leader. And I think this tells a lot that Ryan Reaves came out and said stuff like that he's working hard all the time. He's leading by example. I think that he was the right choice for the captain. Now, you can argue that, should they've taken it away from John Tavares? At this point, I think that Matthew should have been captain the whole time. It's always been his team, and they kind of messed that up. And obviously, we know what happened at that time. But he is the captain now. They're moving forward, and I think there's a new mentality heading into next season. I think that's what we should focus on, and I think the Leafs fans should be fired up about that.
Yeah, let's look into the full quote to kind of give you a full picture of what he said here. So he says, I think a lot of leadership is lead by example. He works incredibly hard in practice and on the ice, and I think you see how hard he works in all three zones. And obviously talking about his injuries last year, trying to grind through it for the team, but I think maybe not the most vocal captain, because he was asked about whether or not he's, a vocal leader, but everybody leads differently, right? And you can't be the most vocal and lead by example. You can't do it all. He basically just praised Austin Matthews, which was very good to see. Again, there was some, I think the bigger story here is how he's going to do next season, because last year in a down year, he put up 78 points in 67 games, 33 goals, obviously nowhere near the amount that we thought he was going to get. It just wasn't, we were expecting, 50, 60 coming off of the 69 goal season, but he is going to be the X factor for this team, going forward. And that's going to be one of the biggest things, is Of course, I mean, now he also, Ryan Reaves mentioned about his leadership with a lot of the young players. You can see us here teaching some of the younger guys. And now that they brought in not necessarily, extremely young players or anything like that, Michelli's on the younger side, but they're going to have Easton Cowan fighting for a spot and things like that. And they're still trying to compete. But his leadership is going to be more important than ever now with Mitch Marner gone and the team feeling as different as it has been in 8 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you brought up something about some of the younger guys, right, on the team who are obviously either just drafted or some younger guys in the system. Easton Cowan did an interview recently, and he said that Austin Matthews texted him as soon as he won the Memorial Cup to congratulate him and be like, hey, this is awesome. And he said that, it was John Tavares, even Mitch Marner texted him, right? And every single player that was drafted in this year's draft, I was watching the behind the scenes stuff of these guys at, development camp. They said every single guy that they interviewed said that Austin Matthews texted them right away, got their number somehow, not somehow, I guess it's in the organization, of course, but got their number and texted them right away. Welcome to the organization. He is a captain. He leads by example. I think this narrative floating around, around the league and from other teams that just because he's not as vocal as other people, he's not a good captain. I don't think that's true. It's fully 100% his team now moving forward. And I think that is exciting. And I'm excited to see what he does next season too, because, I think he's underrated. A lot of people think of him just as a goal scorer. He's great defensively and fighting through an injury. I thought he played pretty well in the playoffs, came up with a big goal in game 6 as well. He had that passengers comment too. I don't think he was necessarily talking about the fourth line. I don't think it would be a good move if you're the captain to call out the fourth liners in a game 7 like that, right? I don't think it was necessarily about that alone, but he is taking control of this team. This is his team, and I think that's a good thing moving forward. Everyone kind of has to not necessarily answer to him, but the team will go like he goes. And we know that at least in the regular season and even sometimes in the playoffs, he does lead the way. So I'm excited to see what he does next year and if he's feeling healthy. All the videos, all the stuff I've seen of him training during the offseason, he looks quick again. He looks like he's feeling good. So I think he's poised to have another really good season.
Yeah, he's also poised to be on the Four Nations faceoff, or he was the captain rather of the Four Nations faceoff earlier this year, and he could be captain for USA again during the 2026 Olympics. So very, very good player. A couple things to dive into before we wrap up. One, just kind of a funny thing. Looking back at Dakota Joshua Newleaf laying out Ryan Reaves in his second NHL game ever goes to show some of the physicality that, I mean, Dakota Joshua is a better player than Ryan Reaves, but he's going to replace some of the physicality I think that they're losing as well. And speaking of, Ryan Reaves revealed the truth behind him never fighting. And he basically said a lot of it was circumstance. I've gone over this a few times early in the season. We played New Jersey. Second game of the year, I got scratched right away. Then Columbus. Olivier had a broken hand. We played Philly twice. Basically, he's going through each game and why he didn't fight. At the end of the day, Ryan Reaves had a disappointing tenure with the Leafs, but, he did some things. And, I mean, it's a thing of the past now. He's on the Sharks. He's going to be the enforcer for a young team. And now, of course, we got Henry Thrun back, who's hopefully going to be a defenseman that can play into the future for this team. And it's all interesting because the passenger comment was obviously a big one. A lot of speculation following last season's ending, especially against the Florida Panthers. And now next season is going to be a very interesting one. But let us know down below what your thoughts are on this and what you think about the comments from both Austin Matthews and Ryan Reaves. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.